Hey, man.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, Dennis, what's up?
How you doing, man?
How are you, bro?
Good to see you.
Hey, you got a bathroom?
Yeah, it's just down the hall.
All right, I'll be back.
Cool. What is this? Oh, it's all this fly tying stuff. Mine now. You know, the funny thing is that I've always said, like the people in Hollywood and the people that people think are famous, I always question that. Like, why are they famous?
Sure,
and not
sure.
like the important people that I know. Like, because
Right
I
on.
know some pretty badass people locally
Yeah.
that are put those people at their core to shame.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Sure.
that's like, these are the people that are famous to me.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean?
I have the same group of friends, you know, like even Joey Accardi, he's been in town for so long, he's such a predominant guy in Pompano Beach, you know. We actually landscape. I used to work for Ted Connor Landscaping, and I actually landscaped all that whole area with Ted Connor. So,
Oh, it's a
yeah.
dealership?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good job. It
Yeah, we've
looks
done
nice.
all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't personally do it, but I worked with Ted and a lot of different stuff, and that was one of them.
Yeah. Joey's a good dude, man.
Yeah.
You know, he's really, right off the bat when we started getting the show rolling, he's like, I want in on this, man. He's like, so cool, you know, because he's very much like that local vibe kind of guy, too. And
Awesome.
he's a big supporter of like just a lot of community events and things that go on. And,
Cool.
you know, so it's all like a happy, fuzzy, feel good kind of stuff.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I mean, let's keep it local as we can, you know, like I said, it's all about, you know, the Taha Marine Centers and, you know, the Bill Pop Fingers and everybody with the businesses around here that are, especially now with COVID and everything, it's like they're all struggling, you know. It's tougher on them. It's tougher on all their employees, you know. Half these businesses are losing their employees, and they got no one to work, you know what I mean, because they got to stay home for 2 weeks, you know, so that's a bummer.
Yeah, so we were talking recently with someone about that, like, you know, with the restaurants in particular. Like, the restaurants themselves, like, might be able to pull through this, but the people that really suffer is, like, the wait staff and, like, all the employees that aren't able to get the hours that they were able to get before, or, like, the entire structure of the business changes.
Yeah.
Because some of the restaurants do well with the takeout, but, you know, probably not as well as they were doing before, but probably well enough to, like, survive through it and sustain.
And take some employees out, like you said. You take the employees out, and now you're doing takeout, but all those people that were serving are not there, and they're not making their money. You know what I mean? Like, I was going to, you know, Papa's the whole time, getting takeout all the time and cooking it myself and doing so. They were doing a great job over there. I mean, he was pretty busy.
They were. You know, in kudos to Troy and Cassie, because, you know, that's a different type of restaurant too, with all the raw stuff and all the different requirements that they had in addition to just all the COVID requirements. And it wasn't easy for them. I know that for a fact, but they did it. And, you know, that's just a testament to who they are. They're real hard workers and,
they're good.
You know, dedicated to the local vibe and the people of, you know, North Broward, basically, you know. But I'm going to formally introduce you here.
Okay.
Right. So we're here today with Jim Burgess on the Connected by Water, presented by Joey Accardi, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. So I'm going to introduce you as Florida native, and I was going to say surfer, fisherman, but I'm just going to say all around waterman, right? So you're like at the core. You got salt and sand of Pompano Beach, like in your blood.
I have. I graduated from Pompano High School. My daughter goes there now, so it's I live in Deerfield, but I'm actually Pompano.
Yeah,
to the core.
You're a mangler.
Yeah, we just went diving. Got our lobsters, got a flounder, got some hog snappers. It was fun with the boys. So we just got back. It was good.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it was fun, man. So yeah, I just grew up. I actually grew up on Atlantic Boulevard, right across from the 7-Eleven, and right next to that little lock right there. That spillway. I grew up snook fishing right there when I was a kid, and just snagging mullet with a treble hook and then slapping it out there and catching. There's monsters back there. Back in the day, I haven't been there in a while, but that was my first snook. You know, like, wow, we can catch some big fish back here. It's not just mullet in the backyard. You know what I mean? So that kind of stoked me out when I first started snook fishing.
Yeah, it's funny what kind of gets you, what hooks you. I know, like, for me, too, it was snook and, like, bass fishing too.
Yeah,
eventually you graduate to actually getting on a boat.
Yeah, I think I started bass fishing when that's how I started. You know what I mean? Like, let me take this buff off. I'm sweating.
Yeah, it can get hot in here.
Jim's wrecking the place. Jim's not here 5 minutes. He's wrecking the place already.
That's about normal for me. Yeah, so and then I graduated to Camino Bridge in snook fishing. That's what, once you learn, and then somebody tells you, a guy named Mike Jeffries actually taught me how to really snook fish, you know what I mean? And that was at Camino and all the bridges, and went from trying to finger mullet to big shrimps that we used to catch off of Deerfield Pier. Well, get from Deerfield Pier, single split shot with a 40-liter, and everybody be sitting there with their mullet and their cranes, and I'd walk up with a spinning rod and a shrimp and catch 4 snooks real fast, and they'd be like, "What the hell are you doing?" I'd be like, "Well, they don't want to come up here and get the mullet you got swimming around. They're on the bottom. They're sitting there. They're laying down there, and the shrimp and the split shot goes right down to them, and they eat it, and you catch them, and you leave, and they're all sitting there like, what are we doing?"
Yeah, man. I used to love growing up and fishing off of Pompano Beach and like the pier, and even like catching pompano off there at the sand fleas and everything like those. Those were good times as a kid.
Remember the bait wells at Pompano Pier? Those were great. You know what I mean? Those were the best. Like, I would sit there and literally, I made my own pilchard rings. I would sit there and load up pilchard so much that we would just make pilchard chum, and then we'd go out fishing with all this, like, we'd stick all the pilchard through the grinder and then freeze it. Talk about a nasty job, man. That was pretty hardcore, but the smell is incredible. It's gnarly. But yeah, then we would go, wahoo fishing and have all our pilchard chum and stuff like that right offshore. So I actually had a 26-foot Mako, a 77 for a while, and I did a lot of offshore too. I think how I got into fly fishing with snooks is I had to sell my boat. Kind of had the 2 kids. I was in between, like jobs and stuff before I was working for Ted and Ted Connor Landscaping. And Junior Popfingers called me one day. He's like, "The snook are killing it right here on the beach. Just drive over here. I got a rod, and I'm going to let you catch one." And I didn't know we were fly fishing. I just walked up. He's like, "Here, just do this." And
that's when you learned how to fly fish?
On my 5th cast, I caught like a 15-pound
Dude, you
snook.
Were done.
I'm like, oh my God.
You were done.
I don't even need a boat.
Oh my God, you're never fishing any other way ever again.
I don't need a boat. I'm what? Oh my God, where do I get this stuff at? You know what I mean? And after that, it was probably about, 7 years ago, and I was hooked on fly fishing after that.
Yeah.
Even so, I've been to Tennessee in the rivers and fly fish there too. It's
you
cool.
did?
Yeah.
See, I'm new to fly fishing, right? So, I've done it before in the past, like ages ago. But when I say done it, it's not really done it. It was kind of like when we were in like peanut schools, we'd bring the fly rod with us.
Yeah, in the dolphin.
Just to have fun with peanut schools and just like, make that worth it rather than, who knows.
That's actually a fun. I've done that and it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun, right? So we would just have a good time. And I did that with Frank Gibbs.
Cool.
And, but I kind of laid it down after a while, and then I always had the dream of going to like Montana, like in the Missoula kind of thing, and Blackfoot River, and like so. It's like my bucket list is to like fly fish on the Blackfoot River.
Colorado's got some great ones too.
Yeah,
big browns, huge rainbows.
Yeah. So I got a fly rod when I was doing a bunch of work with the CCA, and they had these fly rods. And I'm like, I want to buy one of those fly rods off of you. So they gave me like a real sweet deal, like, yeah, you can have it for like cost. So I got a TFO. And it's a nice setup. And, I took it out to the Bahamas when I was over there for the custom shootout with Skip Smith. And I caught some bonefish on it. And then I'm like, this is great. But over there, the opportunities for catching bonefish on fly are a lot better than they are here.
Course,
so it's kind of like, well,
it depends on where you go. There's opportunities, not on this right here particularly, but down in the Keys, you got spots, and there's spots, you know what I mean? You got to know where to go.
I'll bring it with me this weekend. So I'm heading down fishing the backcountry with Captain Charles Hertel on his boat this weekend.
Oh, where, Flamingo?
No, well, we might run the Flamingo, but it's going to be out of Islamorada.
Okay.
So it all kind of depends on what he feels is going to be the hot spot for the day. So I usually just follow his lead when I go down there.
Right on.
But we brought it out. So John and I went snook fishing, and I brought it out, and I got all happy, like stoked, and thinking I'm going to be able to use it, but it was like way too windy. Like, it was even way too windy.
The weatherman lied that day.
Yeah.
Said it was supposed to be calm. It was blowing like 15
Yeah.
and weeds everywhere. So it was impossible for him.
Yeah, even with the pilchards, it was like just
Yeah.
blowing them right back into the shore, and there's all the weed like right along the shore.
And
it
then
was-
you snag one on your back cast. That's the.
yeah,
I've actually broken them, my rods, by casting, snatching a seaweed, and then throwing, and
Yeah.
it has torqued my rod so hard it snapped it.
oh really?
Yeah, so be careful. Yeah, it could be.
Yeah,
But a lot of times when the seaweed's there, I mean, too much seaweed is too much seaweed. It's obvious you're not being able to. The snooks are swimming under them, and the
Right.
fly is in there. But a little bit of seaweed really helps the bite,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know what I
No,
mean?
it does.
It really helps. So
As long as you can
Nose-
weed through it.
Yeah, exactly. And I've been tying some weedless flies, with a little piece of mono from the back of the hook to the front of the hook, which is a good, we might even.
yeah. Did you bring any with you today?
I probably have one I could show.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping like I'm like, oh, I gotta bring Jim on the show so he can teach me how to fly fish first. Right?
Yeah. So I make different ones. Like I think I posted on Facebook, like feathers. This would be
that's great.
least plastic left in the ocean because that's important, especially to my wife. She's like, why do you want to put plastic in everything?
Yeah, this is so. I guess for those, I have to remember that sometimes this gets recorded on audio.
Yeah,
So we're
yeah.
looking at a beautiful fly here. Then you tie all these yourself.
That's made with hackle, which is like rooster chest feathers.
Okay.
So yeah, that's hackle. That's hackle white and
Here,
hackle.
the focus is on your face, so if you hold it closer to your face,
Oh, it
they'll
is?
be able to see
Okay,
it.
all right.
Yeah.
There you go. We just hold it out. So
Nice.
I'm trying to show the weedless ones if I haven't. Oh, I
Yeah,
made
if you
some.
show 'em.
Also made a couple different colors, like this one right here. This is more for
I'll zoom
what
in
would
on
be a glass minnow, more brown on top than green, which that's more pilchard.
Yeah. These are great, man.
Also tie some cool shrimps out of epoxy and just feather. They're pretty cool. They work. They're not really something you strip.
me see that.
You kind of just leave
Are
it.
you selling these, or are you just using them for yourself?
No, I don't sell them.
You just make them for you.
I'll give them to you. It's for fun.
Well, I'd like to actually.
Show you how to make them.
Well, no, show me how to use them.
Oh well, this one.
Like I want to come fishing with you.
Like that one, I would. That's more bonefish. You know what I mean? A snook
Yeah.
would eat it, but probably not in the back.
Yeah, this
in
is-
the back country, they would eat it.
Yeah.
Than in the water. You know what I mean?
On the beach, they're eating the small white baits. So
I'm gonna
they
bring this
need
with
to-
me this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here's a look at a weedless fly. If you can see how
Drop it down for me.
how I made the how the mono comes from the back, and that really keeps it.
Yeah, that's nice.
You can also put a little straight, cut this, and just have it right here, and it will be just in front. Yeah, I mean, I'm going almost every day after work,
Right.
fly fishing.
Are
know?
ya?
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's been kind of weird right now.
I don't want to cramp your style, but
Not at all. I'll definitely take you. It'll be great. You know,
now are you? I saw you're tying some of these at Rattlesnake Jake's.
Yeah.
So you do that there in front of everyone and just kind of is it like a seminar thing or just like a?
it's
like
kind of
a-
like I drink beers and make all the flies and everybody.
That's it. the salty local style.
Yeah, I mean, people come up, but my friends, I teach them too. And then, I think you guys saw these. I tie some grasshoppers for bass fishing. These are cool.
Oh, those are great.
Yeah.
That's great work, man.
Yeah, so I do that. And then these are some other little grasshoppers I tie for bass fishing. Which we're
Oh, I saw you post that up the other
post that,
day.
so
Yeah.
that's a cool little one. Those are manufactured rubber legs. You buy them. So it gives you that.
So that's the JB exclusive.
Yeah. I can't take any credit for the styles. They're common, common styles. But you can whip these up quick. You can almost tie these like with your hand on the thing. So
Yeah.
and they're made of foam and they float. And the little color here is for visual because so you can see it.
Right. For the angler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. And there's a split one. Split tail kind of.
It's tight work, Jim.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
you sit there and we call it like men's crafts because it's we think it's funny, but
The knitting club.
yeah, like the girls come up and they, what are you guys doing, man? We're like drinking bush beer and tying flies.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Talking about loose women.
yeah, exactly. That we're married, so we talk about them, but that's about
Right.
it.
Yeah. That's about it.
That's our only time. My wife calls it my office.
Yeah, man. That's dude. That's awesome. I'm glad you brought those in.
Yeah, and if you want to go, we'll pick a day. I mean, maybe this week. You're going this weekend, though, right?
I'm going this weekend. We're leaving Friday. Okay. We're staying at the Islander.
Yeah, so maybe one day this week we'll go at like 5 because I think the tide's getting perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be perfect like 5-ish.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You got plenty of light, so we'll just go. My friend is texting me right now. He's in our location.
In our location.
In one of the locations.
Yeah.
Where
Well, we're not going to divulge that on the show. But.
Well, we'll say if you do want to fly fish for snook on the beach, there's probably some swimming at your local beach, no matter where you think they are. There might be more here or less there. If the bait are there, you probably have a shot at getting a snook on the beach. I mean, right now I've walked from Lauderdale to Boynton, all beaches, and there's people fishing with pilchards, catching the baits and catching snooks. I mean,
well, that's what we were doing. They were doing before, but the pilchards were really, really tiny.
They were tiny. There's some bigger ones on the beach now, though.
Yeah, they're kind of the bigger ones are a little bit offshore right now. They're not right on the shore like the little ones are, but the bigger ones are just off of that. I would call it the first reef. Really, it's not the first reef, what they call, but it is that little inside reef in like 6 foot of water, and they're there. It's hard to get the fly out there when you're casting, so you got to wade up here, and then you got your fly rod way up here trying to get.
Yeah, it's tough to have an elbow above your shoulder, I mean,
yesterday I went and. Probably an 80-pound tarpon just came right through the bait and I'm like, oh my God, there it is. And
there he is.
And I was like, get it. And I just spooked it. So it didn't happen. But I did catch one the other day, and I will say at Hillsborough Inlet the other day on the fly rod.
A tarpon?
Yeah, right at the inlet. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah. Pretty good size, about 50 pounds.
Really?
Yeah. While everyone else was fishing live bait, I walked right up there and casted 3 times and had one on.
On fly?
Yeah.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, I have it on video. I didn't post it or anything. But
oh, nice. You got to put that over to John. He'll put that up on the edit.
Right, I'll show you. You can edit it too. It's kind of like Chris Bezekny, my dear friend, was over there, and he's like, I'm not even going to fish. I'm just going to bring the camera. I said, all right, cool. And I was on in 5 minutes, on one of these. These are called eat me flies, by the way, those green ones.
Okay.
Developed by a guy in Jupiter, probably perfected by the guy from the old Florida, Darren, I think his name is. And then I put my own spin on eat me flies too. So I kind of make them a little different than everyone.
Yeah, that's nice. I remember that one day when we went out, we all the pilchards were really small, but then John casted, and there were 2 little horse pilchards.
Yeah, we had a couple
so he's
nice
you
horse
take
ones.
one, I'll take one.
Cool.
Right, so he walked out to the rock, he starts casting out, and I take one and I cast mine out, and I swear to God, in 2 minutes, mine got sharked.
Oh man!
I was like, man, one good bait from today,
right?
Yeah.
Gone.
Surprisingly, smaller's better. Less is more.
Yeah.
And people think you're gonna throw a huge big fly out there. I think it spooks them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, I like to use, what size bait's there, mostly, and then I like to throw my fly as far as away as I can from the fish itself and the line and everything, and bring the fly. For those of you who are out there trying, do not throw your line
on top of
anything near the fish at all, not even close to it. You have to run up the beach, cast, wait, and strip into the fish, and then you'll actually lead into it, and that's where you'll get the best bite. Because
and make the fish think it was his idea.
Yeah, 100%. And the fish goes, "Oh my God, look what just happened!" Bam, and that's most of the best bites you'll get. You get less turnaways from surprising the fish by the thing just swimming right in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and a lot of times you're in a rush and you throw it in front this way, and then you pull it and. It just didn't happen right, you know what I mean? They follow it and they sniff it and then they don't touch it. They just go, oh, what's that? But if you really get them startled, not startled like if you threw the line, but if you it's amazing. This bait just swam in front of me.
Yeah,
you
right.
know what I
Hey,
mean?
where'd you come from?
Yeah.
Thanks. You know? And then bam, you're on. So
Those bonefish are so fickle.
yeah,
I remember the first time it took me like a whole day of like a lot of opportunities to
Yeah.
really get hooked up on it.
Yeah.
But I remember the first time, like my leg was shaking. And I was so excited because I saw a little wolf pack coming like right around the mangroves.
yeah.
And I swear to God, I threw like the perfect cast, and even like the guide was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna see it. That's it." He's like the Bahamian guy.
yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, boy,
Yeah.
be patient, be patient."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was like, it's like stripping a little bit like that,
Yeah, little strips.
and then they just went right on by, like
ya.
all like 13 of them. I'm like,
Yeah.
you gotta be kidding me! But I swear my leg was shaking. I was
Yeah,
just like,
you're
I
so
was
excited.
so excited.
The
man.
thumper.
Yeah.
That
Thumper
happens to
leg.
me every day when I fish.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, that's like because if they're everywhere, you don't get so excited because you're like casting. A couple of those days we were fishing, there was like every 30 seconds you saw a fish go by. Now it's like, oh, there's one. Don't mess it up. You know what I mean? Don't mess up this
it's an art.
chance. Yeah, don't mess this chance up, and you will. It's a fact. You know what I mean? You're definitely going to miss a few shots. You know what I mean? The wind, especially with the wind, the weeds, and all this.
Yeah.
The people walking by, and you're trying to get the perfect cast. And a couple of times, even this week, I'm like, there it is. Oh my God. And then I'm looking, there's a couple walking by, enjoying their beach time. I'm like, I'm cussing under my breath at them.
Right.
Like, what I mean? Oh my God, I got to wait. And then you go back up the beach a little bit to check him, and then it's gone. Your opportunity squashed,
It's the worst when they go and jump in the water right there.
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah.
I see a big fish.
Yeah,
my
yeah.
heart's pumping. I like you say, I run up and lead
Yeah.
him. I wait, and then this guy comes running up right next to me. Whoosh,
Yeah.
he cannonballs
Thanks,
him. I'm
dude.
like, are you fucking
like,
serious
yeah,
right
you
now?
know the
Did
funny
you see
thing is,
that?
It happens
fish?
to me all the time.
Yeah.
John's
All
such
the
a nice
time.
guy. Like
Yeah.
really is. Like some of the nicest guys I know in the world, right? I see your face like when that happens, just going,
Yeah, you're just like, it's like that dog from the cartoon, sassafrasa, cussing under your breath,
it's not like throwing a live bait to a mahi where it's like you just got to get it within 50 feet of the fish
Yeah.
and you're gonna catch
Yeah.
it. But
I did some fly fishing on on wood out there, and for the schoolies, and there'll be nothing around. And I find if you tease up some of the jacks that are on wood or anything, and you just, even though there's not any dolphin around, you start teasing up those jacks and start making them run off of the board, and all of a sudden they come up. They come up, and next thing you know, you got a 20-pound dolphin on, and you're like, yes.
Yep.
yeah,
A lot
man.
of times they're hanging down deep.
They're down there, yeah. And then once the baits start to get crazy, they just rise. They can see it. Mm-hmm. It's fun to catch dolphin on the fly rod. It's pretty fun.
I'm probably gonna start doing it again.
Yeah,
to be
it's
honest
real
with you,
fun.
because we were out on the swordfish tournament for the Swordfish Mayhem this past weekend, and we didn't get a swordfish. Not a lot were caught necessarily in the tournament on the whole, which made me feel a little bit better. But we did catch some mahi. We caught one that we kept, but ran into like a few schools. And it's like, man, I was just thinking, man, I really wish I should the fly rod. I mean, obviously not on the swordfish day, but
Sure.
you know what I mean? It's like it really started thinking about it again. I'm like, I really should just enjoy that too. You know what I mean? But
Yeah. Well, right now, the season's not going to last for much longer. You probably have like 3 weeks or 4 weeks left to actually see a bunch of snooks on the beach. So it's important to go.
well, we were
now.
talking about doing like another trip here. I mean, John goes all the time, never calls me.
Sure.
Did you get my lures, by the way?
No, I haven't gone back there
Okay.
yet. I'll get them soon.
So he's been using these no live bait.
Yeah,
Are
I
they
throw.
cows?
They're kind of like that. It's a
Like a
paddle
cow?
tail. It's
Yeah.
a paddle tail.
No weight or weight?
It's a weighted head.
Okay.
Yeah. They have different size jig heads that they make too.
Right on.
I've been trying to fish the lighter ones, but
on.
during the when that storm came with the big swell, I was fishing 1.5 ounces, and I banged out a few nice fish then too.
Yeah, we fish those white cows. I even glue the epoxy eyes on them because they come normal, and then we'll glue that, and we live bait them, which we call just a free hook, no weight,
Right.
and we just twitch them.
Yeah.
So we cast, and they don't go far, but you only really need to be on the beach anyway. So as far as you can cast it, and you just just twitch them.
Yeah,
and
I do that with the flukes.
Yeah, it's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And, we were pretty successful on those. They work well. I mean, even tarpon eat them. We used to do it at Nader's Dock a lot. Like we would have a regular spinning rod, and then we throw flies on them. I even have videos of me fly fishing with flies on spinning rods at the dock. So like literally just slapping a fly in between the seaweed under a boat. And
right there at the bridge.
Right at the dock.
At Nader's Dock.
Yeah, and tarpon come right out underneath the dock and just hit these flies like you wouldn't believe it. No casting. I call it flipping. You just slap the water, let them sink, and twitch them a little bit, and boom.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, it's called Flipping for Poons on YouTube if you want to check it out.
You got a YouTube channel for it?
Yeah, it's on.
I'll plug that. Flipping for Poons?
Flipping for Poons. Yeah, it's a good video.
You need me to design a logo for that? I got a great idea.
Sure, you design it, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's cool. It was fun when Nader's one of my closest friends ever, and I'll shamelessly plug Taha Marine Center.
Yeah, we want to definitely talk about Taha
Valve
today.
Tech gasoline, the best gasoline for your boat that you can get in the world.
It's a difference maker.
Yeah, it changes your boat. You know what I mean? So
yeah. So speaking of Nader, I mean they've been at that location forever.
I think they moved here in '74, and they owned it in '81.
Owned it in '81.
They started in '81.
So I can't think of a more core local business than Taha Marine. I mean, there are maybe a few others around, like some of the older, tackle shops and stuff that are here. And Merritt Boats is another, classic.
Sure. God bless
Pompano
Roy
business.
Jr.
Yep.
Yeah. Good.
And there's a few businesses like that, around. Dandy Donuts.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah.
Right. It's that make Pompano what Pompano is.
Sure.
And I even had the
Belamontes, all those. Right. You know what I mean.
And I even had the mayor of Pompano on the show once before, and we were talking about the expansion of Pompano, and I said, well, can you please just don't ruin the flavor of Pompano, please.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Because those businesses really got to support those businesses.
Yes, exactly.
And for the people that have been here for decades, have been just such a part of the fabric of the community, just like the Taha family is.
Yeah.
Right. And it's important that everybody locally support them, but also spread the words to those that aren't local.
Sure.
And say, hey, this is the business you want to go to. These are the guys you want to visit. Because these are the guys that really make Pompano what Pompano is.
And I believe that has been proven.
Yeah.
During that whole controversial thing.
Yep.
It's been proven. I mean, everybody, the locals are not going to just go for the bait, if you will. Mm-hmm. They're going to stay where the locals are, and they're not going to go, and they're going to teach their kids, you go here, the Tahas are great guys. They stand by their product. The Tahas will come to the dock at 9:00 at night if they already closed. They will actually, you can call them. They will come and give you gas if it's emergency. They've done it. They live close.
Right.
You know what I mean? I've seen them do it. You know what I mean? You call them they're leaving. You call them. All right, I'll stay here for half hour. How long are you away? You know what I mean? And they'll stay. They're more community than they are about themselves, which is awesome.
Exactly. And you know what? It's at that point it becomes a symbiotic thing. One supports the other at that point. And it's important to know too that there are some businesses that might have been around for a while that have been bought and sold.
Sure.
And the new people that buy them aren't necessarily the nicest people.
Yeah, or they don't have
local,
or they don't have the locals in their mind anymore, and they're not trying to appease them. But they learn their lesson eventually.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Without mentioning any names.
So Pompano strong.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
100%.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And,
cool.
Yeah, which I.
Well, I mean, just Nader and Kelly. I mean, they're such a part of the fabric of that whole scene too. And even not to plug us or anything like that, but when we did the artwork on the Atlantic Bridge right there, I mean, one of the reasons why that means so much to me and my entire family, to be honest with you, like my parents are proud of that. Not because it's such a big canvas and such a great piece, but because of that bridge. It's on that bridge.
There it
is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it was on some bridge in Miami, it wouldn't mean nearly as much to me.
Exactly, right.
Because that's the bridge that, my mother would drive over to drop me off in the summers and leave me there all day.
Yeah, me as
And then
well.
when the sun goes down, then she'd be there to pick me up.
Yeah.
And then when I'm driving myself or my brother's driving, we're driving over that bridge to go surf 2nd Street.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
that's it.
And so that's like the stomping grounds. Like the first art gallery I was ever in, remember when the Wildfish collection were next to Cherries on the, you know what I mean? Right there at the marina.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the first place when I was like 17 years old, hanging my artwork,
Yeah.
My fish art in that gallery. And it's like, that whole corner is like so meaningful.
Sure.
And that's why it's important, I think, to keep
Triple M Seafood.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, all those, the Montellos.
Yeah, and that's why it's cool with 2nd Street Surf Shops right there in that spot too. It's like really, really cool.
I was going to wear my 2nd Street one.
That's all right. Well, shout out to 2nd Street Surf Shop.
Yeah. Yes, I grew up at 2nd Street, obviously, surfing with Nader. Me and Nader surfed all over the, Mexico, Costa Rica, Barbados. We've been all over, you know what I mean? And great guy, great fun times with him, So go get your gas at Taha.
Go get your gas at
Taha. And, the Valve Tech gas, they inspect the tanks. Their diesel has anti-algae agent in it. I mean, they get their tanks inspected on a regular basis. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's Valve Tech is serious, man. That guy's there all the time testing, probably once a month, maybe even twice a month sometimes. Yep. Depends on how much fuel they're going through, you know what I mean?
Another place, if you're not on that side of the Intercoastal too, another place at the Lighthouse Point Marina is another great spot.
Great guys there too. Yeah, Lighthouse Point Marina is awesome.
I mean, Christian in the whole operation there. It's a very good operation too. So it's nice to really understand the landscape of the people that make up, all that whole stretch, and it's important to support the local vibe of it. I really wholeheartedly believe that.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we're kind of going on and on about it today.
Sure. Well, in my opinion, Pompano Beach has got the best fishermen in the world, and it's been proven already. I mean, the people from Pompano have won.
You find them all over the world.
Yeah, and they catch, and they win big tournaments, from Timmy Potfinger, Bill's younger brother. He won Angler of the Year for marlin fishing. So, you got Timmy and Cliffy or some of the, and now little Timmy's become one of the best fishermen.
Yeah, and he's captain in Nate's pelagic boat at the Sea Hunter.
Amazing,
right? And he's doing a great job on that boat.
Amazing, yeah.
And I know I talk to Nate about it all the time, and he can't say enough about the job that he's doing.
Yeah.
And Timmy. I mean, what can you say about the record-breaking Timmy?
Yeah. It is what it is.
Phenomenal. You know what I mean?
Real, yep.
But that's just really just kind of like the fabric of the whole town. And you got the White family, and just you can list names forever. The Leach family and the Basson family, and it's like the pound for pound, the strength of anglers that are in this town.
Shannon Kelleher, them guys are winning. I mean, I went to school with Shannon and the Miss Michelle. It's amazing how good they do too.
I remember when I was in one of the meetings about how we were going to design the artwork on the bridge, and there was one person on the board there. They're like, "Well, shouldn't you bring in, do this kind of artwork and make it like fluffy, beachy kind of thing?" And I'm like,
absolutely not.
I'm like, this is Pompano. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
The artwork on this bridge is what makes up the fabric of this town. I'm telling you. Like this, and the rest of the people were kind of in agreement. Brandon Rhodes was on that board, and he was backing me up. He was like, "No, this is Pompano, and that's what we're all about."
I think it's perfect too. I love
Thank
it.
You.
You know what I mean? When I saw when you were drawing it in there before you even put it on there, I was like, "Yeah, this is going to be cool." You know what I mean? I mean, one of my first fish I ever caught. On my mom's, I had a 23-foot aqua sport. I was probably 10 years old. I caught a 50-pound sailfish. Caught my own ballyhoo, live trolled it, slow trolled it, and caught it. And I remember my mom saying, I was 10 years old, "Don't you lose this fish." And she's like screaming at me, "Don't you lose this fish. You better keep
Your
that
mom's
line."
yelling at you, "Don't lose this fish."
My mom started me off. Yeah, she was like, "You better not lose this fish." And I did it.
Talk about pressure.
I did not. I did not lose it. Unfortunately, I had it mounted. I had like a head mount of it. And we had back then you could actually take the bill and put the bill on the head mount and stuff. But
do you hear your mom's voice in your ear when you're like, you've got the snook, like, you don't lose this fish?
Oh, man. I've caught some big snooks this year, but I've lost a couple.
Yeah,
big
too.
big
Couple
monsters.
Snookosaurus?
Yeah, big ones. Yeah, exactly.
I had a monster straighten an 8-0 hook on me this
Ooh,
summer.
Wow.
I'll put a picture up of that.
Really?
Nice,
Big
yeah.
ass hook on there, straightened me out.
An
It wasn't foul hooked either because I could feel the head shakes. I turned
Yeah.
the fish a couple times and it was at night, so I didn't see her, but I
Yeah.
felt her.
Big.
Big fish.
Yeah.
Wow.
I had one right on the beach. I mean, it was probably 44, 45-inch snook right on the beach. And it kept dogging me and going and staying right on the shore trough. And it just was too strong. And I just was trying to not, after it goes back and forth and the line keeps switching over the head of the snook, it's just getting chafed and it's getting, frayed. And I was like, getting frustrated, and I'm like, all right, I got to put a little heat on the fish. And as soon as I did, it came, busted. And I was like, you don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
you want that. You always want that one back. Too,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I still think about like, geez, I must have had a. I mean, I don't want to. It always gets bigger every time I tell the story.
Sure.
But I mean, it had to have been at least a 60-pound mahi.
Wow.
That I lost at the boat, and I was just about to jump in.
And dive on
And
it,
I
right?
was just about to jump in with the gaff, and then it got a little bit too deep for me. I was like, because I was so devastated at first. If I would have thought quicker,
Yeah.
I probably could have, at least even just turned the boat on it and got it in. But because it was right at the boat,
Yeah.
and it's just like boom, just snapped off, and I was like, oh.
That was.
And I still think about that fish.
It happens, but that's what
was
makes
such a
you keep
nice
going
mahi.
back.
100%. Like,
Yes.
then you're like, all right, I have to redeem myself after that. I mean, I caught some big ones this year. I mean, not probably the biggest one I ever caught on fly I caught this year, for sure. And
Yeah, you've been holding some nice ones up recently.
yeah, I did catch a couple nice ones about 2 years ago. We had that one year where it's almost impossible to fish. There was so much seaweed and it was windy the whole time. There was no snook. And I think it was last year, maybe a year before, but 2 or 3 years ago, we had a great year for some fly fishing on the beach. It was crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and this is, I mean, with the wind being minimal, it's probably very helpful this time of year too. With the lack of wind.
They do like it when there's a little chop in that surf.
A little
though.
bit.
It's a little harder for me though.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a good fly fisherman.
Right on. I go, and it's really windy. My wife, she's been fly fishing. I'm like, it's too windy for you. Don't even come because you're just gonna get all frustrated, right? But you got to keep it low, and you can't get the fly up in the wind, and you got to sidearm it, and you can't really cast as far as you think you can. So don't try.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you can't really push. Then you're working against yourself.
And
Yeah.
let the wind. You got to know the wind's going to take your line over here, so you're throwing over there.
Right.
If the wind is south or whatever, you're going this way.
Yeah.
A lot of times you'll try, and if you get it too high, the wind goes and blows it right on your fish.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, oh my God. That's happened to me a lot, obviously. The wind, you know what I mean? So that's part of learning it, you know what I mean? And not getting tangled and not having wind knots happen. That's all part of the windy and
I'm determined, man, to get it down.
Yeah.
Like I'll be the first one to openly admit I do not have it down.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I'm determined to.
Even I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know
you're
what I mean?
always learning something. when
Even
you go
I
out there.
don't have
every
it.
time.
I mean, guys like Junior Popfinger, the Brian Espositos, people like that who are, been doing it for 3 times as long as I have, you know what I mean? Who probably, started it, you know what I mean? Or those people. I mean, when I'm standing next to them and I'm fishing right next to them, they're like, "Do you see that fish?" I'm like, "No." You know what I mean? It's right there. I'm like, "What? Where?" I don't.
That's the thing too.
They
It's like,
can
I
see
feel
better.
I feel like an idiot sometimes too, because I'm in the same position. Where I'm
Yeah.
like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But
people,
he'll see them all. And I'm like,
it's
like that. Like you were seeing like a couple things in
Yeah.
the water. And I'm like, what are you talking?
it's
I'm like,
not
I
your
don't see that.
eyes, it's your mind.
Yeah.
It's your mind. You know when you see the snook. You know what I mean? Like my friends are telling me, I was like, it will happen when you know that shadow or what is a fish. You don't know that because you don't do it enough to see the fish swimming. It could be 3-4 foot deep, and you just see that black line going, and you're like, that is a fish. And it takes a while. It does. It took me. I still don't see him next to guys like Junior and stuff. I'll be standing right next to him, like right there. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't see it. Like, cast over there. Run up the beach. You know, okay, I got it. You know, it's humbling when you fish next to those guys. You know, I go, I'll catch 3, and it's on fire. They catch 10.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're like, oh, I just caught another one. They're on. You're like, oh my God, what am I doing wrong? What is going on here? You know?
Totally. I mean, that's the thing. Like, you know, like I'm not the best fisherman in the world. You know what I mean? But I've been fishing, you know, my whole life.
Sure.
But you know, but not professionally and not like every day. And
Sure.
you know, so it's like, you know, I can kind of hold my own, I think. But I know enough guys that really know what they're doing to know that I don't know anything.
Sure.
You know, like if that makes sense. You know,
Sure.
it's like, because I mean, like you got guys like Art Sapp to come on the show. He's a regular on the show. You know, there's nothing I'm going to say to him that's going to teach him a damn thing, or even like hang with him. You know, I just got to listen to what he says and be like, all right, cool. I got to take your word for it.
Great fisherman. Great
you know,
guy
things
too.
like that.
Yeah, great guy too.
You got
awesome.
guys in Skip Dana, like these are guys that are out on the water like every day.
So good.
You know what I mean? I wouldn't expect them to come in here and tell me how to blend colors or you know, anything like that. So because that's my deal, but you know.
Yeah.
But you know, but I think it's important to stay humble about that too, because I can't stand like the guys that are in a similar position as me and then want to sit there and talk about like they know everything. It's like, you can't be like that.
You can't know everything.
You can't exactly. That's the trick to it, right?
You can't know. You can. It's like, you know, what bait to use at this time. What techniques to use at certain times of the year, and even like right now the full moon. People don't know. You go during the full moon, they're not there. You go 3 days after the full moon, a week after full moon, all of a sudden there's snooks everywhere because they were on the reef spawning, then they come back, and then now they're hungry. So some people are going, full moon, I don't even bother, you know, unless you're going to go at night on the reef or something, you know.
Yeah, right. The I mean, it's cool, and I enjoy having guys on the show like yourself that, you know, I can just shoot the shit with and just talk fishing with because I enjoy to do that. You know, I enjoy doing that. But also, if me or someone listening to the show can maybe learn a little something. Or you pick up a couple of things, or you know, just be entertained by hearing like a few new things. That'd be great. Like, you know.
Yeah, if people are listening and watching right now, you're pretty much going to use a 7 to a 10 weight if you're snook fishing. A lot of my friends use 8 weights. I like a 9 because there's always tarpon around, and I don't want to get caught with an even smaller rod. Then a 9 is already too small for tarpon. So if you're getting into fly fishing on the beach or just anywhere, you're going to go from 7 to 9 pretty much. And then from there, you're going to go down or up depending on, you know, what fish you're catching. You know, like bonefish, you're probably going to more 5 to 7. And then tarpon, 10 to 12 weight.
Right.
Weight, rod, line, you know, and bonefish. I mean, I'm really a bone fisherman. I've never even caught one on the fly rod. So I aspire to, but I've never been down there to do it. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and even in the Keys, you don't get really nearly as many opportunities. I mean, I fished with bonefish with Randy Tao down there. Cool. And we're basically just throwing out shrimp.
Yeah,
and just kind of
shrimp on a jig.
Yeah,
shrimp on a jig. That's how all my friends catch them. Yeah, mostly. But fly fishing's a little different now.
Well, Randy's a master fly fisherman.
Cool.
So he won't fly fish with me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't blame him.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, you know, we've talked about it, and I even deferred and I said, I don't. You know what I mean? If it's gonna like cramp your style, then I don't even want to like. You know what I mean? Now he's like, if you wanted to fly fish, blah blah blah.
Yeah, and
you come down here. That's how he talks.
Yeah.
You come down here, and I'll teach you for a full day, and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
We'll just do that all day.
Yeah.
He's like, but don't go like thinking we're gonna catch fish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And don't go.
It's not that easy.
Yeah. And he goes, I will teach you like all day. But he's like, you want to catch fish, then don't go blowing an opportunity by busting the fly rod out.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
like that. So that's just how he is.
There is bonefish on the beach out here. Believe it or not, they're there.
Right.
There are not a lot of them, but they're there. And if you got to know when you know what they are, and you got to be able to spot them, and you need to have another rod and another whole setup with you because you're snook fish, and then all of a sudden you run into a school of bonefish, and you're like, they're not eating this eat me fly at all. You know, they like a shrimp looking fly. You know what I mean? Something that goes on the bottom, and that's you'll catch them. They usually eat off the bottom more than they do the surface, you know. So
Right.
I saw a nice school of them last month over in Fort Lauderdale by the inlet.
Yeah,
just
see,
south
they're
of
there.
it. Yep,
they're there. You
They're
just have to
swimming
see
through.
them. Yeah, you have to see them. You know, I just went to Sanibel.
Oh, you
saw
did?
that. Yeah, got my wife's first snook on there. She was happy on a spinning rod. But we went over there and fished Bowman's Park, Bowman's, I think it's called, and there was a lot of snook. I mean, small, all of them were probably 12 to 16 inches, and lots of them, but they were real fickle. I got a couple follows, I caught a couple, but for how many snook, they really weren't biting, you know what I mean?
I think that's a big difference between the East Coast and the West Coast. Is like you're going to get a lot more snook over on that coast, but I think the snook on this side are bigger.
Way bigger.
So
they brag about
that's the big
33-inch
difference.
snook over there. I wouldn't even put one on the, I wouldn't even take a picture of it.
Yeah, right.
I mean, yeah, like, oh, that's you know.
Where's the belly on that thing?
Well, I would if it was like season. If I caught a 32 or a 28, you know, in season, I would definitely be like, slot, thank you for coming out. You know, if you catch a slot, which is the, you know, the skill, you know, if you could do it. I'll tell a story. It was great. It's like whatever, first couple days of season legal snook fishing. I'm going to go walk. I got to catch a snook legal. I got to catch a slot just to prove I could do it. So I go fishing. I'm walking the beach. I see one loner snook. He's just cruising. I'm like, oh, man, this is my shot. It looks perfect, you know. I throw first cast. Bam, I got him on. I catch him. I go run up to my bag. No tape measure. I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
I grab my bag. I go with the snook. I go back in the water, and I got the snook in the water, and I'm holding it. Like, there, I get on the phone. I'm like, hey, are you coming up here? Like to Bill Popfinger. I'm like, you coming up here? He goes, yeah. I said, bring a tape measure, man. I got this snook in the water and I need to measure it, right? And he's like driving up, you know, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, okay, a $1 bill is 6 inches long. If somebody has $1, I can measure this, you know what I mean? So people were walking by, I'm like, hey, you got $1? I'm like, no, man. I'm like, come on, man. I don't want the $1. I just want to measure the snook, man. What's going on? And I'm literally in the water holding it, you know. I'm like just jonesing, you know.
I gotta draw that.
Yeah, and then here comes Bill. Bill finally shows up. Junior finally shows up. He gives me the tape measure. It is like 28 1/4. You know what I mean? I just make it. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I caught it. You know what I mean? He's like, well, what are you gonna do? I'm like, I'm leaving. You can only keep one. I gotta go home now. He's like, all right, I'm leaving.
Dude, I'm crying.
Oh man, it was funny. I'm
just picture you sitting there in the water.
In the water holding it. I'm like keeping it alive. Yeah, you got a buck. You know, people walking the beach. I'm like, oh my God, dude, what am I doing? But I got to eat it. It was great. You know, so and I had the claim to fame that I can catch snook during season, a legal one, you know, on the fly rod. So,
no one gave you $1?
Yeah, no one gave me $1. No.
I'm sorry. If I see some dude in the water holding a stick, ask me for $1, I'm giving you $1.
Like, I need $1, 6 inches, you know. I can make 24 out of that, you know what I mean? I know. Oh, man.
Well, I only had $1. I could eat dinner.
Yeah. Oh, man. So funny. True story. I swear to God. It was great. At least Junior came up because I was about ready. I was like, all right, if I don't get anybody, I have to let it go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't just take it, you know?
Yeah.
So that was a pretty good story. I always tell that one because
That's funny.
when I was there, I was just laughing, you know what I mean? Like, oh my God, I'm like begging for $1 here with the snook in my hand.
Outstanding. It's funny because John gives me like little teasers to post up sometimes. And that's got to be it. I never say that on the show live, but that's our teaser right there. That's great. I want to segue a little bit over because there's a topic that I want to kind of get today with you to talk about CBD.
Sure.
Right? If you want to, if we can kind of just move over to that real quick because that's something that I'm highly interested in.
Okay.
My wife has done a lot of research on it and she's introduced some products like into our household.
Cool.
But you're kind of an expert on the matter.
Yeah.
And I wanted to pick your brain. And this is the company that you work for. And you guys do a bunch of different products. So kind of wanted you to maybe bring up some things that could educate the audience. Because I know
on
people,
CBD.
Yeah, because I know there's always a lot of questions about it. And,
it's
new,
people, it's popular.
Right.
And, CBD is obviously a cannabinoid. That's what it stands for, cannabinoidal. It is part of the hemp plant or cannabis plant. You know, it's an alkaloid or a molecule from it that, you know, now, so they take hemp plants and then they extract the CBD molecules out of them and use it. And it's a very calming alkaloid. I would say CBD does, if anyone's ever, you know, used marijuana or anything, the CBD part of it is the part that makes you tired. It's the part that makes your eyes heavy and your face feel heavy. You know, and that's why a lot of people use it for anti-anxiety. People use it for, you know, obviously they're using it for epilepsy and stuff like that, which is a nervousness. So it's a calming, you know what I mean? And a lot of people use it. A lot of people, there was a hype about it, and everybody would take it or use it and be like, oh, it doesn't really work. It's nothing. Well, they probably didn't take enough or use enough product, because it's a very subtle alkaloid is what I like to call it. It's a very subtle alkaloid, and the more you take, the more you'll probably feel of it. You know,
I think some people shy away from it because of the point you brought up about that's the part that makes you tired.
Yeah,
I think people shy away from it sometimes because they may have smoked weed in the past.
Sure.
And then like panicked or freaked out or had some kind of like, you know, oh, I don't ever want to do that again.
It doesn't have it doesn't have the paranoia that weed, that cannabis itself has, you know, like THC. THC has a little bit more of a euphoria than CBD products, I think, and that's why they kind of making, I'm not going to say CBD is 100% legal, but it's pretty legal. You know what I mean?
Right.
It is. I think Texas just outlawed it, CBD.
Oh, they did?
Hemp flower. They outlawed hemp flower. So now they are growing hemp flower, looks just like marijuana buds or whatever, but there's no THC in it. Very, very little. And we actually, we're farm to table. We grow it, we package it, and we sell it as hemp flower. And it's smokable, or you can make edibles out of it or whatever, you know what I mean? So,
has there been some on the ground recently on actually like the hemp industry, like making a comeback now?
Oh, yeah.
Because of all this? Because I know in the past, like, you know, with the William Randolph Hearst thing and wanted to sell more newspapers and that whole story or whatever like that. But it seems like with the growing of the CBD and the popularity of it, like that, the hemp industry would probably come back. I haven't done any research on that, but I'm just assuming.
Well, there's two kinds. There's industrial hemp, and there's hemp flower, which people are growing for the buds. Okay, and then hemp stalks, they would use the stalks, and that makes rope and fabrics and stuff like that. So it's kind of split.
Okay.
All right. So the industrial hemp grows for fibers, and medical use CBD is grown for the buds and the flower.
Okay.
So a little different. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Maybe you have some, you know, you're growing. I forget what it's called, but they have, like, when you take all the buds off, then you have this big pile of garbage that they don't use, but then they can sell it to you know, textile industry or whatever. I mean, they make hempcrete now. You can have concrete with hemp in it, which is stronger than regular concrete. Yeah, and they just put the fibers in it.
Hempcrete.
Yeah, it's good. You can actually buy a kit of make your own one brick. If you want. Yeah, on the internet. It's pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You think maybe if you put like some hemp in like the flies or some CBD,
they would go,
some CBD in the flies,
it would just knock them out, right?
Yeah, the snook would just be like, okay, just drag me in.
Now what I have done, and I'll share this secret. I don't do it really when I'm fly fishing, but when I used flies at Nader's Dock, we would dip them in the gulp. Liquid.
Oh yeah, the Berkeley gulp.
Yeah, we would dip them in the gulp and then slap them, and we'd get hits off them. You know what I mean? Like soak them in there for a second, and especially like the moonfish. We did a lot of moon fishing right at Nader's Dock with little small flies, and if you soak them, then they hit it. You know? I mean, it goes away quick, but you know, like, it's pretty funny. Like,
oh my god,
it actually works. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Didn't you have take me through the Talk Surf radio show a little bit that you did with like Pat O'Connell.
Yeah, me Pat came to me. He was doing sports radio with a couple of his good friends, CJ, who worked at Papa's, and his buddy Ken, and this kid Luby, who all worked for Jeff DeForest. And they all did Jeff DeForest
The
had
sports radio?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jeff DeForest had his own radio show, and then he had this internet radio. D.Friel radio, yeah. So D.Friel had this internet radio where they would talk about sports, and it was
and degenerate gamblers and all that.
Yeah, everything and whatever. They even did a Mystery Science 2000 on it one day. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
So Pat says, hey, well, why don't we? I was telling surf stories about his uncle Joe O'Connor and Nader, and I'm telling all these Porto stories and Mexico's and Costas and all these funny stories. He says, man, that's like a radio show.
Right.
I'm like, he's like, you want to do it? We could set a day up. I'm like, all right, I'll do it. I said, I could probably get a bunch of, pros and local surfers that I know to come in, and which we did, and it was pretty cool. I mean, I enjoyed it a lot. We used to do it at, Papa's Raw Bar. We did it at Jake's.
Yeah.
We did it, several other locations. But Pat moved to North Carolina, and it kind of fizzled out from there.
Yeah.
I mean, to set it all up. I mean, obviously, you see all this equipment you have. We were doing it on the fly out of the trunk of our car, and it was difficult to say the least.
Right.
With a laptop and headphones breaking, and we had inferior equipment. So we kind of, if we were gonna go next level on it, we would need to get a spot, and stay there,
Yeah, I can't imagine having to do the show without the way we're doing it now.
Sure.
Like I remember when John and I were first concepting this, he's like, well, how do you want to set it up? I'm like, basically told him like, all I want is just a cool studio that we can just walk into and go.
Turn it on.
Yeah, just turn it on and go, and
That's
just like
cool,
and make like a cool little cozy setting and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So we're not having to do like this major. Now he'll come like an hour before, half an hour before the show, and get the mics and the chairs based upon who's coming and
Sure.
stuff like that. But for the most part, it's pretty turnkey.
Yep.
Yeah.
He brings his cameras in and like does like that. So I never wanted it to be like, I want it to be, because this is not our main.
Sure,
business,
sure,
right? Our
sure.
main business is an art studio.
Yeah, of course.
Right. So, but we do this kind of for fun.
Sure.
Really, because I
I mean,
just
that's what we
enjoy
did.
the hell out of
We
it.
didn't have a sponsor. We didn't have anybody give us
Yeah.
anything. We were doing it just for fun and free beers at the bar. We were going to show up. You guys give
we
us
should
some
have had
food
a drink.
and
You want to
beer.
have a glass, a drink of rum?
No.
All right.
I
I don't want you to think I wasn't being hospitable.
No.
So,
Coffee's enough for right
Yeah.
now. You know what I mean? But
Yeah. So what kind of stories you're telling on the surf radio?
I'll just silliness, but I'll elaborate a little more on the show. We thought, same as you, we're not going to really like beg anybody for money or anything. I mean, first of all, the difficulty from taking out of your car and trying to set it all up, and then you show up late and then you forgot a cord, and you know what I mean? Like the problems were endless, and then the internet's not working.
Yeah.
And,
We've done a couple of live shows on location, and it's a hassle.
Yeah.
So that was the main part where if I was going to do it again, if I was going to continue to do it without Pat, I was going to do it right, like this. I was going to have a booth and a show,
Right.
and we'll really get people in there. I mean, we had some world champion surfers, all kinds of people on there. It was
nice.
great, you know what I mean?
Did you enjoy doing it?
Yeah, it was fun, man. I mean, we were...
Because you're more than welcome to come like back on the show and be a regular.
Sure,
like, you know what I mean? Take up a chair and like we'll bring on
I
other
can't wait
guests
till they
and-
get flights out here. It'll be a lot easier.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I gotta tell you, man, every time people come out to, I'm like, thanks for coming to the Everglades to visit me today. I feel like I'm Clyde Butcher over here. Like, everyone's coming out to see me in the Cypress
What time's
Gallery.
the flight over there, man?
Yeah.
No,
awesome.
I actually grew up out west till I was about 12 years
Where'd
old.
you grow up?
I grew up right next to North Lauderdale and Broadview when I was a kid. I went to actually Broadview Elementary School when I was a kid.
Get out of here.
I did, yeah.
I grew up in Kimberly, Rock Island.
Oh, cool, Kimberly, yeah.
There's
Right. The
Serenade
cow
Park.
pastures right between. We used to
Yeah.
walk back and forth over there, yeah.
Serenade Park.
Cool, yeah. I grew up.
Yeah.
I went to Margate Middle in 6th grade.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Wow.
And my mom was like, "All right, you're out of there." Like she didn't. Yeah. I
that wasn't a good
I went
scene
to
back then. Yeah.
I went to Lauderdale Lakes too.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went. Well, I mean, that was the one thing that my parents mandated on all of us. I'm the youngest of 6, and they did this for all of us. Yeah.
Yeah.
They did this for all of us. Is like, you had no choice. You were going to Catholic school.
Right on.
Like, and my parents did not make a lot of money.
Sure.
So it's like they stretched and pinched every penny to make sure that all their kids went to like private school.
Cool.
And I went to the St. Helens and then right into Gibbons.
Cool.
And it was like, you know, the only choice I had was when it came to high school, they're like, do you want to go to Gibbons or you want to go to St. Thomas?
Sure.
And I chose Gibbons because it was closer to the beach.
Right on.
That's
cool.
it. And my brother had gone there too, but that wasn't really like the big decision maker. It was like, I would, you know, and then that worked out well because we were surfing all the time and fishing all the time, like, you know, after school.
Yeah, that's where the Pompano guys used to pick up their girlfriends.
Yeah.
You know, because the Pompano girls were just, you know, white trash. So
They're
we'd go cruise Gibbons.
They had
Get
summer
the good
teeth,
girls.
right?
Get the good girls over there.
The Pompano girls had the summer teeth.
Yeah. Oh,
Summer here, summer there.
Man. We had the court. You know, we had the court over there. It was the girls' halfway house, and they all used to go to Pompano High, and then they were actually in halfway houses, and then they'd go to school and then go back to the dorm every day.
What?
Yeah, it's called the Cord. Yeah,
The cord?
Yeah,
I've never heard of this.
Yeah, it was classic, man. You know, the bad girls went there, man. It was crazy.
Damn, that's pretty hardcore.
Yeah. And they were like, lived there. You know what I mean? They lived in this like building back over by it was over by the baseball fields back in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we'd all creep over there after Kester Park. Do a lunch doob cruise and go over by the court when we were kids.
My God.
Oh man.
That's
we're like, is
core Pompano
is Sherry
story.
over there? What's going on? You know?
You riding your bike over there?
Yeah, or
right?
whatever.
With the mag wheels?
Somebody had a car.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think my mom gave me my car, her car when I was 14. She was like, just take the car, because I was turned 15 and I wanted a moped. I was like, I gotta have a moped. Everybody has one. And she went to the moped store and she's like, you know what? You can have the car, man. I'm like, okay, I'll take it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I got lucky. I had a big old Impala cruising around in Pompano.
You got an Impala?
Yeah, big giant like sled.
Oh my God.
Crazy, yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
I remember my buddy Brian, he had a like, I don't know, 70 something Noah.
Right.
So I think it was a 77 or something like that. And we always used to head up coast in that thing, like go up to Sebastian Inlet and whatever. And you know, he lived right there, like, you know where the power plant is, right in Sample, and you know what I mean, right there. Yeah, he used to live like right over in that neighborhood,
over by the Carrere Funeral Home.
Yeah, so recently he lives in North Carolina now. So he just texted me some pictures like that he found of like his old room. Oh, and whoever came into that room was allowed to write on the wall.
Oh, cool.
So like over the years, like that whole thing, the whole room looked like a club, you know, but it was like a surf club because all the people were like drawing Quicksilver logos on the wall, like stuff like that.
I had a few on my room too, I believe. I had like Tropical Brazil or something on there, and rock and roll. I would draw the covers on my folder. I was a little artist kid myself. I'd do the Pink Floyd wall on one folder, and then Van Halen on another, and then all my folders had a rock and roll group on it or surfing on it.
I hate to be like, oh, kids these days, but it's like, or like any like, this is one difference I think of the generation that's growing up now to like our generation.
Sure.
Like, I'm sorry, but your music sucks.
Yeah.
Like bad.
Yeah. A lot of it does. But I'll tell you what, there is some new generation right now of 80s style punk rock music that my daughter listens to. Okay. Which is
all right, so you have a teenage artist daughter who's incredibly talented.
Totally.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're kind of in on what's really like hot. And
exactly. They're not listening. They don't watch the Kardashians or any of that crap. They're like more modern. And they don't sit on their phones. We have all art supplies. We have like a little studio at our house.
That's awesome.
Their room is all art. You know what I mean? I'll show you some more stuff that they do. It's incredible.
Yeah, send it over to John because we'll throw it all up.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
Yeah, they're real talented young girls. They take college courses in high school. They're going to both graduate with their AAs. So they
nice.
They're
going at Pompano.
One goes to Pompano. Yeah. They're both going to graduate with their associates in high school.
Wow.
So they only have to do
Good for
2.
you,
They're
Dad.
saving me some money, but
Yeah.
that was my brainwashing of them. I'm like, listen, you're going to graduate college and school, and then you're going to save me 2 years of money. You know how much money you're going to save me? A lot. You know.
Oh, that's great. So then they can go to a state school without.
Yeah, my one daughter has a 5.2.
No, so you get no worries.
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah, and the other one, she's Pompano High. I think she's taking guitar now.
Yeah, that's a great school.
She actually goes to the School of Rock too.
Oh, she does? How do you like that?
I don't know. I haven't been there, but my wife says she loves it.
Because we were thinking about maybe doing that with our kids too, but our kids are still young. They're like 9 and 7, so.
I think that if you get them started, I started mine about 9, 10 on a Casio keyboard, one of those, somebody gave it to me, the one that lights up and you follow it.
Okay.
So she started doing it, and then I say, hey, you want to take piano lessons? She said, yeah, okay. So we called up somebody and ended up being the guy from Howl at the Moon.
Okay.
I forget. I should plug him, but I forget. But the guy's amazing. So we did a few lessons at his piano, blah, 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 at his spot. Then once she learned of hands and everything and where to put everything, we only did over the phone.
Okay.
And she did over the phone for probably 5 years straight. And she shreds the piano. And I bought her, a nice weighted keyboard, Yamaha, nice. And then one day I had a bass. I don't know. I just was like, I want to learn how to play the Barney Miller theme. All right. Yeah. I just was like, I want to just play that one time because I just love the bass. You know what I mean? So I got a bass. I played around with it, and I didn't do anything with it. So during the COVID, my daughter is like, well, bored. She's like, I'm sick of everything. I'm sitting here. I don't know. I'm done. She's like, can I play that bass? I'm like, yeah, take it. So I show her how to go on the computer and learn the bass tabs and learn what you're supposed to do. And she's like, okay. Next thing I know, she's like ripping the thing. I'm like,
really?
What the hell? I'm like, you want bass lessons now? She's like, sure. Whatever.
She like Red Hot Chili Peppers?
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, well, then I showed her all the great bass players.
Right.
I said, you got this, you got
Jaco Pastorius.
Yeah, you got
Jaco,
Flea, and you got, what's the other guy?
Geddy Lee's a great bass player too. Yeah.
But who's the one guy who's amazing? He plucks and slaps really hard. Oh man.
What genre is it?
It's rock. It's punk rock. It's oh man, it's somebody's probably saying that out loud.
Yeah. All right. Well, if we think of it, we'll have to edit that in.
He has the video with the cowboys all dressed in cowboy suits, and he's.
Primus.
Primus, yeah. So
yeah.
I says, you gotta check this guy out. This is the #1 guy. This is Primus.
Yeah.
This is the Chili Peppers. This is In Between, and this is Jaco Pastorius. Nothing like them. This is how you play everything on the bass. Every part of the guitar you can play. He does that, and fretless. Pretty cool. So
that's good that you gave her those influences because that's rather than just being so technical about it.
Yeah. She likes to play rock on it. And I think she went into, you have two choices in the School of Rock. You have the Who or you have hair band.
Okay.
And she was playing a lot of Who, not Who, but, old rock.
Classic rock.
Rock. And she's like, all right. And then she's like, well, I think I'm a little more hair band. So she's into this hair band thing at School of Rock now.
Yeah.
So we'll see how she does.
Oh my God,
stay tuned for Sophia Burgess, next bass rocker.
We were in that swordfish tournament this weekend, and obviously, sword fishing is not like the most active form of fishing in the world.
Yeah, wait for it.
But so there was like a huge lull in the day, and then someone like all of a sudden Harris started playing "Bang Your Head."
Oh, right on the radio.
Man.
Oh yeah,
I haven't heard that in forever.
Oh yeah, that was a long time, right?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, so funny. Yeah, I mean, I listened to all that when I was a kid. I listened to pretty hardcore, either punk. So I was a skateboarder, surfer, Pompano Beach, I either listened to that or like, the Scorpions, like you're saying, something like that,
Quiet
crazy.
Riot.
Yeah.
It was back in like your Pal Peralta days and like
I had
Bones Brigade.
I
and
totally
all that.
had a Pal Peralta.
Yeah.
With the sword and the skull. I was skate Bob Yanger's ramp right there on Dover.
Yeah.
By the inlet.
Yep.
That's where we all skated.
Yeah, so I worked for Chuck out here for BC Surf and Sport
Sure.
like all through high school and like
Sure,
early
yeah.
on in college and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So I grew up putting together skate decks and
Great guy.
Yeah, Chuck's the man.
I just hit him up. I'm like, is my name at Billabong or what? What do I have to do to go over there? Do I have to call Bruce myself? What do I have to do?
What do you need?
No,
You call Aaron.
I know. I was just teasing him anyway. You know what I
okay.
mean? I remember I do this DFB logo. It's my logo. And they had a DBI flag out there, and we're kind of like the opposite of them. You know what I mean? So I called Chuck. I said, "Hey, man, got a DBI flag in front of Billabong. You got to get rid of that." And all my friends were sitting at Jake's. And he goes, "All right, hold on." And I stand there and I go, "Watch this, everybody." And the guy walks right out and takes the DBI flag.
Oh,
and
really?
throws it in the garbage. I'm like, "There you go."
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, Aaron's working over there.
Cool.
Yeah, at
Cool.
Hedberg.
Yeah, cool.
So that's who we worked together at
Awesome.
at BC. And
Good. I'll go over there. Yeah, I used to go to BC way back when it was by the hot dog place over there, way back in the day. You know what I mean?
the Skyline
Yeah.
Chili.
Houston's. We used to eat at Houston's, and
Yep.
BC was there for a little while. It was cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great operation. I enjoy it. I mean, I'm so lucky. Like I worked at a surf shop, and then I went and I worked in the music industry for
Sure.
17 years, like from like major record labels and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And then now I own my own art studio.
Cool.
So I've been very fortunate enough, like, to always like be able to love my job.
Yeah.
You know, so
That's cool.
Yeah, I count my blessings for that every day. You know.
Me too. Like I feel like I could do anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If my job, I sell. I run 4 or 5 websites. I do all the graphics for my company, for my friend's company. I've made all the products, all the stuff. So I enjoy it. You know what I mean? I enjoy the creating stuff for people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was landscaping before this. I'm a landscape designer. I'd take your house and Photoshop plants right
Yeah.
on it. You know what I mean? And
That's cool.
yeah, I mean, I'll
Yeah.
show you some of that too. It's pretty cool. You know, like I have, I could teach that too. Like somebody could instantly landscape design. I mean, my dad landscaped in Florida for 50 years, so
Right.
I know all the plants.
I love landscape design.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know all the plants. I knew all that, and I was into it. I think I kind of went to my plateau on it, and this guy offered me a job. My good friend David Darian, who owns ZionHerbals.com. Check it out. Promo code LionZion, 15% off.
There you go.
Anything you guys want.
Yep.
So, lowercase.
Lowercase Lion Zion.
Yeah.
15.
Yep, 15% off. And
Is it Lion Zion?
Yeah,
Or Lion
LION.
Zion 15.
LOI, no, just Lion Zion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So I started working for him, and it's, working for your friends are probably the best thing. Close friends, somebody you've already been through trials and tribulations with, and you know what I mean? Now
I do.
you got and people
That
like,
works when you're small.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
definitely.
Now we've already been through everything over in life, and now we work together. So it's
Yeah.
like we don't have any of that weirdness. You know what I
Right.
mean? We just get it done. So
That's great.
It's cool,
Like
you know what I mean?
we kind of grew this company the same way, to where our first hires were like people within our circle. Because you got to
Exactly.
trust who you're working with. And, you know what I mean? You don't want to
100%,
just bring in someone that, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly.
Even with John working here too, it's like, well, he came like via a friend through Jimmy
Sure,
Wicket,
sure.
so there's like a conduit there of like within your circle that you operate from. I
Yeah.
think that's really important when you're first kind of
Yeah.
getting everything started, and because you want to surround yourself with people you trust, and
that's
people
100%.
you have like
yeah.
common ground with.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really, really important.
I believe that's like one of the main things you can do. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
because some people say, "Oh, don't ever hire your friends." I say, "Bullshit."
no, I
You
don't
know
think
what I
that
mean?
at all.
'Cause
I mean,
if you can't hire your friends, then maybe you need to question whether or not they're your friend.
friends that you've been through stuff
Yeah.
with. I think, you just meet somebody. Yeah, you don't know them yet, but if you've been through, a few years of trial and error just in friendship, you can work with them because then they know you and you know them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Which is cool, Or even if, just like you hired him through a friend, well, he has that feeling from that other friend too. So it's all, you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally,
Yeah.
totally, dude.
So yeah, we're gonna go fishing. We're gonna go fly fishing.
Yeah, man.
When are we gonna go? You're leaving
well-
this weekend, maybe this week sometime.
Maybe this week. I'm going to be out in Hillsborough Mile doing an install Thursday.
Okay.
So maybe after that,
Okay.
because
Perfect.
I'll already be out there.
Perfect.
So I'll give you a buzz. And
There's nothing wrong with that. You know, the Hillsborough Mile, the beach is brown as it gets right now. It's disgusting.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm going to, coming from out here,
Yeah.
I'm like near you.
Okay,
so
cool.
like north or south doesn't matter
Sure.
to me.
Okay, cool.
Once I'm out there.
Yeah, you just hit me up and I'll be like, my office is right above Kahuna's.
Okay.
So I'm right there at the beach in Deerfield.
Nice.
So you call me. I always have my stuff in the car, you know.
All right.
Tuesday's my golf league, which is today. I golf at 4:35.
Okay.
Pompano. So.
Very nice.
All right.
Yeah, man.
I do that too.
Golfing.
You ever golf?
I love golf.
I used to when I was younger. I stopped.
No, I love golf.
Cool.
I got a set of Cleveland TA7s. I used to be decent. I can't even say I was ever good.
Right on.
My brother is good.
Right on. Cool.
Like he went to University of West Florida.
Yeah.
He was a captain of his college team.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, like
shooting
to the
under
point where
par.
like so if I go play golf with him, like I really get sick of saying nice shot.
Oh yeah, right.
It's because it's always like a foot from the pin.
Nice shot. You know that's rude in golf.
What's that?
Nice shot.
Is it?
Unless it's like right next to the hole.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like if it's not right.
No, it's like a foot
like
from the pin.
like if you miss a putt by 3 inches, that's not a good putt.
Right.
You missed.
Right. So now I just got to like, even if it's like a foot, I'm like, it could have been 6 inches more to the right.
Yeah, you tease them. That's what you do. So you
know?
got to get in his head.
Yeah. Right.
No, but
so I got a bad slice.
I was good at golf before I had my kids. I played literally every day golf, and I was a scratch golfer.
Oh, you were?
Yeah. Now I'm like an 8. I can break 80.
Yeah.
I can break 80 if I have a good game, but I'm usually like low 80s, high 70s right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I usually like it. I usually like being around 79.
Yeah.
And any hotter than that, I just don't go out.
Right. Yeah. I agree.
It's
too hot. I mean, it's 90. It is 90 degrees out there.
No, if I break 100 these days, I'm happy.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
I
just don't really play that much
Short
anymore.
game's everything. Like,
yes,
you see people. You could slice the ball if you aim left and slice it into the middle of the fairway. It's a great shot.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's the difference. You know.
Right.
And then the short game is what most golfers cannot lower their score. You're chipping it over and go past.
Your mind gets the better of you.
Putting, all that. That's half of it. So even me, if I would tighten up my short game right now, which I don't have time to, I only play 1 day a week. I could probably start getting into low 70s. You know what I mean? But I've been shooting 80s. Low 80s.
That's still great.
Yeah, low 80s. I'm happy. I'm not trying to get any better. I just go out there and play with my friends, and if I shoot a 45, a 90 or something, I would be. Yeah. Can't be mad.
I'm like, in my life right now, I feel like I'm the cockroach, like just like coming out from underneath the furniture and seeing like daylight for the first time in a while. Because my kids are 7 and 9 and they were really little, and then we were starting the business and everything like that. So I was basically like married to being a new dad and and then starting a business at the same time. So it's like I didn't really get to see the light of day for a little while.
Yeah, I did that with mine when they were little. I was the stay-at-home dad. My wife bartended and waitressed, and I would stay at home all night long. While she went to the.
Well, we're homeschooling now.
Yeah, my wife's a teacher.
Well, we've been doing it for 2 years, like for homeschooling. So when my wife does it, I don't do it. Yeah. I'm here. You know what I mean? But which we've been enjoying that actually aspect of being able to work hands on with the kids, and it gets frustrating at times. But.
At least you're able to. My wife's a school teacher at McNabb Elementary, and some of these parents, they have to work. It's really
tough.
Difficult.
It's very tough, especially now with this COVID thing. Like I feel so bad for a lot of these parents that are being put in this position.
100%.
And not only just put in that position, but having to have a curriculum that I don't necessarily agree with be forced upon them.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And it's so because the curriculum is like too demanding in a lot of respects. I'm talking about for the little kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like it doesn't really have to be as extreme as
they want them to get it over with quick.
Yeah, and it's like, you know what? It's very, very tough for these parents to deal with this situation right now.
I agree.
So if you're talking like everyone wants to criticize DeSantis for saying, "Oh, at least give them a choice," I'm like, well, if you're giving them a choice, then it's not like you're mandating that they have to go back. But if you're at least letting them choose to say, yes, I want to do this or do that, it really should be the parent's choice. I think.
like that. I totally like that. I want my kid at an early age to go in this direction. Not, in the direction that you're saying, you know what I mean?
Right.
Wherever, if they want to be this, then that's what they're going to, let's give them a shot. You know what I mean? So
that's why we're homeschooling in the first place.
Yeah,
you know
I'm a fan of the internet. I've been on the computer. I was a rave promoter in my 20s, so I learned the graphics from making flyers down in Lauderdale, promoting, and I'm a fan of the internet. I've been on it for over 20 something years, and my kids they can do their whole school at home. They don't even need to go to school. They have all the equipment, and half the time my kids come over to school, like the teachers don't even do anything. They just say, here, look at this and do that. And it's all on the internet anyway. So
even the whole idea of college is going to change.
Yeah.
I was reading an article.
On the computer.
I was reading an article in Forbes, I think it was, recently that, this guy was put up a really compelling argument for like the destruction of the college system as we know it.
Right.
Because of the price.
Yeah.
Right. And if parents and students that actually have to take on the student loans, can do most of this stuff remotely.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but you can.
More than almost all of it.
If you go to like Tallahassee and you sit into a class of like 200 people in a room to talk about calculus.
Yeah.
Like you're never talking to that teacher. You're just sitting there to listen to that teacher.
It sounds like the Snoopy.
Yeah, you're taking notes about what they're doing. Yeah. Like you never talk to that teacher.
Yeah, you don't.
You have to email that teacher to ask them a question.
That happens right now.
Right.
That's in high school.
So what the hell do you have to go to school for?
That's
you
what
just do that on the internet, right?
I tell my kids that all the time. I'm like, I think you could just do it all at home.
All at home, and then your student loan is going to be minimal.
My wife's
you're going to end up paying $5,000 a year for college instead of $20,000 a year, if that.
Yeah.
Right, because you're just going to have to basically pay your membership.
Yeah.
To go now. Schools like high level schools like Harvard and Stanford and Yale, those places will always be institutions.
Sure.
Those places will always be around.
Sure.
But the schools right down the middle, right, the mid range schools, those are the schools that are going to suffer.
Sure.
Or just going to kind of go away
unless they're specialty. When you got hands-on stuff like
art school.
Sure.
Art school, you have to go. Yeah. I can attest for that because I'm like, there's a lot to be said for interacting with the instructors, interacting with the other students, kind of getting through and learning your skill set. Because so much of it is hands-on.
Yeah. I think a little bit like, even with you doing like oceanography or anything like that, you're going to have to be in the ocean. Yeah. You're going to have to go to there to learn it.
But most of the classes that you can take, you can just
before
do
that.
So you might only have to do a handful of those field classes.
Sure.
I don't know. I think this is going to change the entire landscape of the college education.
I hope it does.
And I think I hope it's going to change the financial aspect of it.
Yeah.
Like they become more affordable for more people to go to college. I mean, they're looking for more affordable ways to do that, right?
For you, mine are going to college next year, so I'm going to be footing the bill till they figure that out.
It's so expensive now.
Well, they saved me 2 years. They're saving me, which is great. So.
Yeah, maybe you can buy them a moped.
Maybe. Well, I already drive her car, so she didn't get her license because of the COVID. So she's like, she has it, but she has to go get it. You know what I mean? So it's so funny. Like, you want your kid to do well, but then you don't want to send them out there when they get older. You know what I mean? It's a scary feeling. You know what I mean? You're like, I think homeschool would be great for you. You know what I mean?
I'm starting. I saw some. I mean, I don't know. There were reasons why we did the homeschool. Decided to do the homeschool. This is all pre-COVID. And I was just wasn't liking what I was seeing.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I agree.
And we had the ability to do it at the time, so I was like, let's just do that.
Yeah.
And they're doing great.
Yeah.
I mean, my son.
I've heard nothing good about it. I've never heard homeschool sucks by any mother or any of my friends that do that. They say it's the best thing ever.
My he's supposed to be going into the first grade, and just based upon the work that my wife has done with him, he's already testing in the second grade math.
Yeah, look at the attention they get by being homeschooled.
Yeah,
1-on-1. This is what you got to do. Learn this. Boom. It's not. My wife's a teacher. She normally has 15 to 20 kids in her class,
right?
And they're all they're kindergartners, and they're picking their nose and running. They're all crazy. You can't keep them straight. You know what I mean? Who's paying attention here? You get 1-on-1 with the kid, he's going to learn, or she.
Yeah,
You know,
and in less time than it takes. And I feel bad for the teachers too.
Sure.
And just to be clear, my whole criticism is not on the teachers.
Sure.
Teachers are awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just what a lot of them are forced to be
dealt with.
You know what I mean? It's a lot of it's being mandated.
Now she's going to teach in her own classroom remotely. She's going to go to school, and in her class, no kids, and they're all going to be on screen with her using her board like normal.
Yeah, it's going to be a challenge.
It's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Wow. Strange times we're
Let's
living
give
in.
it up to the teachers. Out
Yeah,
there.
absolutely. Absolutely. You know, support your teachers, support your police officers, support your, medical professionals, and everyone that's got to go to work and deal with this.
Yeah.
Like, not all of us have to deal with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they don't have a choice, and they're dealing with it all the time. And, our poor police officers that are just, taking the brunt of this very small percentage of the bad ones are out there right now. And it's just not.
They're scared to even work.
Yeah. And that's highly unfortunate.
Sure.
But
I think it'll all work out. It'll work out, and people will be a little more smarter, and it will all go back to not being so in fear like everyone is, and then we'll kind of forget about the fear, and then when they try to bring it back or whatever, to learn something else. We do need to learn from it, no matter what. You know what I mean? You got to learn from everything.
Well, it's leaving a historical footprint for sure.
Yeah, sure. So
yeah, I mean, it's an election year.
yeah,
That's all I can say about it.
let's do Thursday, man.
Yeah.
Thursday, 5:00, something like that.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the tide's perfect too.
Okay.
So
Yep.
be great.
Good tide this week.
What's the wind? You know what the wind is?
I think it's east wind, but it's really light, so I think it should be good.
The best it was southwest winds. When that's when it was really good. Right after the full moon, southwest winds was great.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to see that again, but
Yeah.
the bait's there. It's still there. I think we got a shot.
Are you looking it up now?
Yeah, but my phone's not loading. Or it's when I need it.
All right. Yeah. Right.
We'll figure it
That's
out.
how
You guys
it
text
goes.
me. I will text you my real number too, so we don't have to Facebook it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then we'll go over it.
All right. Cool.
Cool, brother.
Jim Burgess.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
you very much for
Thank
joining
you,
us on
brother.
the show.
Always
today.
a pleasure,
Yeah,
Dennis.
man. Definitely.
John, pleasure.
Yeah.
Pleasure.
So your ego is not your amigo.
No.
And always do your best, and
Yeah.
then just let God do the rest.
Yep. There you
Right.
go.
Always remember that if you're in the market for a Jeep or a Chrysler or a Ram truck like we have,
Nice.
go see the fine folks at Joey Cardi Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. They will hook you up. Talk to Dean. He's my man. It's my sales guy. Price selection service is always on top, right? And if you are hungry, which I know you are, because my stomach is grumbling,
Right.
go check out Troy and Cassie's operation at Papa's Raw Bar
Yeah. Great place.
in Lighthouse Point. They are got all their situation dialed in for the COVID they have for a while. And
Yeah.
it's pretty proven that they got that all fixed, and they got the Pop Amigos showing up, the food truck in the old town, and
I'm gonna go check that out. I haven't seen
yeah,
it.
it's pretty cool.
Is it? It's different food, right? It's a little bit
It's
different.
just this he calls it Jamaican Cajun,
Okay. Cool.
whereas like this mix between like Caribbean, Jamaican, and like Asian sushi kind
Cool.
of fusion
Got it.
going
Mexican.
on.
Got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Mexican, right? They got exactly, and like
Dude, the food looks awesome.
I gotta
I
check
haven't
it.
been able to go yet. I'm
gonna
dying
go.
to.
it's
gonna go.
really
Dying to.
smart.
I'm gonna
you
hit
know?
it up.
Yeah. So and then there's probably been some slowdown of the development of the brick and mortar location
Sure.
for a little bit, but we're going to be doing some artwork in the place once it starts getting developed and built. So we're looking forward to that and really excited about it. So
Cool. Awesome.
and also if you get a chance, anyone goes to connectedbywater.com, you can check out all of our cool straw hats and different things we have, buffs, fishing shirts, apparel, artwork. You know what we do.
Cool. Yeah.
Check us out, right?
Yep. Yep.
So
Go see the Taha brothers at Taha Marine.
go see Taha Marine.
Yeah.
Get all your gas from there, please. Lighthouse Point Marina.
Go catch them up. You only
Yep.
got a month left on the beach.
Snooking.
All right, guys. Thanks.
See ya.